question to the alleged culprit of said strike.
Yeah.
Misstatements I might make, but it was heavily applied today, Drunk on Cringe, that you might be behind whatever is going on with these community engagement strikes or complaints. Is it you?
First of all, I have to explain. If you report a channel for whatever reason, for a community strike, copyright strike, you never get a reply. They never tell you, like, if you report something, you never get a reply like, oh, we did this or whatever. You never get a reply. So I don't know if I did it. I hope I did it because I hate fucking Shuli Network.
Okay, so
He hopes he did it
right there. He hopes he did it. You know,
what's that mean?
It means this is somebody who, again, you know, you've seen what's happened with my channel, right? It's with these ex-Scientologists, these cult members. I mean, they come at you, they don't like you, and that's what happens. So what you're seeing here, the host of this show, getting this exclusive, we have him with us here tonight. Let's bring him out. Give him a nice round of applause. Say hello to Mr. Carlos Danger.
Mr. Danger.
It's fucking hot in my basement. I apologize. I'm sweating like a pig.
Well, welcome to Ripcast for the first time. We're happy.
Thank you for coming on.
You.
Yeah, thank you very much for the invite. I appreciate it. Zero Dark Tony and Corn Diff.
Indeed, we are taking over secretly over here. We're doing it quietly.
Right. Good for you.
Not after a couple of these shows, though. it's going to get a lot less quiet after having you on, but that's okay. We can handle it because to me, the idea, and I've been dealing with, you know, we all have our, you know, when you're a creator of a certain ilk, we tend to bring a nemesis or two into our foreground, right? So I happen to be dealing with these ex-cult people who have tried to report my channel. They've had my Twitter, you know, suspended for a few days. They've had my link tree taken down. I mean, these are people that just don't like you. And to me, it's a matter of free speech. What is your position on people striking other channels?
Oh, geez. Well, I'll first claim ignorance because although I had Drunk on Cringe on my stream last night, I'm a fucking idiot when it comes to this shit. So I'm looking forward to learning a bit from you. But that being said, on principle, yeah, I don't understand why that would be a tack someone would take. Specifically, what's being alleged here by Shuli is that it's essentially exploitation of whatever YouTube guidelines and loopholes and whatever the fuck you can do to screw somebody over. So that's not good. I think we can all agree on that. I have like sort of complicated personal feelings about Drunk on Cringe specifically, only because I think anyone I appear on a stream with is now my friend. Right. So I have that whole parasocial relationship going on. But yeah, I mean, you know, I don't support people striking other people's channels, particularly in the Dabbleverse, because it's, you know, we were born out of the Howard Stern show. I think Carl from WATP made this point a little bit on Twitter. You know, what did Stern do? He fought the FCC, and the enemy, that the people who reported Stern to the FCC, they were the common enemy.
Right.
To like 14-year-old Carlos Danger growing up. And now we're all reporting to the FCC.
Well, it sounds to me like you listened to him for the very first time, like I did. We probably around the same age when he was on in DC, right? That was the first.
No, I'm from New York. I first heard him on WNBC on AM radio when I was real young, and then the K-Rock days. That's like the heyday of my Stern listening, and of course, like the Artie years.
So would that be in the what year would you say that was? Was that around 84, 85?
I first heard him on a cassette tape. It had to be 1983, 1984. Yeah, I got four older brothers, right? I'm 49. My oldest brother is like 105. So he would tape Stern and then corrupt me, the youngest in the family, and play like, I remember specifically, it was I think it was the Match Game or the Dating Game. And it was Lou Ferrigno, who's deaf, getting Oscar Mayer washer dryer confused. That's my earliest Stern memory. I'm a fucking loser.
Wow, man. I remember hearing him right before he went to New York. He was in DC, and I remember hearing just a couple of those, like of all places, in my aunt's car. Right,
It's
on
wild.
the radio, my aunt's car. So,
And today they throw you in jail. You can't. You know what I mean? The aunt would be brought up on charges, child endangerment. Be fucking crazy.
Everyone has the IST on the end of their name, whether it's there's racist, misogynist, all this stuff.
Wait, are we talking about Ray DeVito? That's a whole other show.
A DeVitist. He's a DeVitist. Let's just get back real quick because I just want to jump into where Shuli came in.
Oh yeah.
And this was when I was watching this last night. This is quite a moment because my position is I think anybody who tries to get someone else's channel taken down because you don't like them is a bitch. You know. Now, there was one instance where I did report a channel, but it was a guy who was a former UN guy who had two like underage, girl charges on his ticket, and they gave him back his Twitter. Right. So in that case, like his name was Scott Ritter. And you can look him up, Scott Ritter, former UN worker. He was already, and that's when I reported it because it's like, no, this guy shouldn't be online. That's his charge. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's far afield from comedy channels in the Dabbleverse where we talk to cartoon corn, potatoes, guys in wrestling masks. We shouldn't be reporting each other in this world.
Right. No. If there's a crime going on, but a crime isn't calling somebody a cunt. It's not somebody not. And I think the crux of this argument was a simple link to NLO.
That's exactly what it was. NLO had gone hard against Drunk on Cringe, and then the Shuli Network put a link to that, like in one of their show descriptions, and then Drunk on Cringe contacted Shuli and said, "Hey, what the fuck? Take that off there, please." Then they got into a little private messaging back and forth
on Twitter, right?
Yeah. Well, no, private first, and then Shuli put that out to Twitter because he felt one of them was a blackmail attempt, and then it just blew the fuck up from there. And that was a couple of weeks back.
And doesn't he sort of explains it here with Shuli, who just jumps in. And for those who don't know who Shuli is, Shuli Egar worked on the Howard Stern show. He was one of the guys. The way I see him is he really did a lot of stuff with phone calls. He got on the show because of his content that he provided the show. And I'm trying to put it in a more modern context rather than just, calling in. But that's really how they developed content back then on Howard Stern. They used the audience quite a bit. So Shuli is just basically like an audience member who got on the show, worked his way up, and eventually started doing some really amazing stuff with a lot of what you call the whack pack. So let's just have a quick look at what Shuli.
Sorry about that. Here is Shuli Egar.
Oh, what a surprise!
Of the Shuli Network.
So let me get this straight. So thanks for having me. So let me get this straight. So you get upset about being in.
I'm not upset, Shuli. I'm not upset.
Hey,
You're
hey,
upset.
Wait,
can I talk?
Cringe.
Can I
Hold on.
talk?
Let him.
You're
Let him.
upset. No. Don't stop. Don't even start with this condescending. Oh, you're upset. Fuck off with this condescending shit.
Let him have
Manu,
he just came on. Let him speak. Let's be men here. He'll speak, and then you'll speak.
I gotta say, Shuli, hit that like button, guys. I would say Shuli looks pissed.
Yeah, Shuli's pissed. Now, is Drunk on Cringe inebriated?
Yes, I would assume so. I mean,
okay.
It's in his name, and that was my impression. I want to say me saying "Let's be men" is the cringiest shit I've ever said in my life. I apologize for that.
Well, this beautiful. You just got to get in there and throw the punches when you got it. Yeah. I do just get a sense that he's inebriated quite often. And he is really smashed here. I've never seen him on and not be. I've seen him a few times because I like to watch Patrick in the morning. So that's kind of like the morning show that I watch. I'm up pretty early.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah,
I'm on the West Coast. So
shit.
So I'm up sometimes 4:30 in the morning. But when I saw this guy for the first time, I was like, how much alcohol? Because I've been sober for a while off alcohol.
Oh, okay.
So, and I'm just thinking, like, how much do you have to drink? Because I used to get pretty shit-faced.
All of it.
Straight.
You have to drink all of it.
But yeah, just incoherent. how were you communicating with him, Carlos? How was he with you? Like,
yeah, well, I mean,
off camera.
He started to, we message each other. We've been on a handful of streams before. We're friendly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's never done anything to me. I've never done anything to him, except perhaps this. I just, he's been on Ray's stream a couple of times. He's German. You guys might have noticed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's got an accent. He does drink a little, I guess. But overall, I had fun being on stream with him a couple of times that I was on stream. I thought he did some pretty funny videos, looking at Ray's psyche and things like that. The way this came together was, obviously he went to war with Shuli on Twitter. He had a couple of long rants on Twitter, and then he's disappeared for a while. And I saw last night that he was back on Twitter going at it with Shuli again. This is, of course, after Shuli's channel has been pulled. And he is pretty much saying, I'm the guy.
Right.
I think there's still debate as to whether he is the guy, because there's obviously no proof of that at this point. But he was gloating, and he was like stepping up gingerly to totally claiming it. But I saw him on Jake Hudson's.
He was eager to take the credit.
He wanted to talk
Right.
about it. I saw him go on Jake Hudson's stream, right? And he was on there with OJ and Spaghetti Tooth John. Daytwa, I think, was in that stream, and somebody else I'm not familiar with. And when Drunk on Cringe,
and to the audience here, that's just for 1 second, that these are just some characters that are associated with the chats and some of the lore that we're looking into behind this story, which is basically about, for those who just jumped in, the guy in the lower right had put a strike on the guy in the lower left's channel for no reason, and the guy who's here with us live is in the upper left. So this is his show that we're watching because he kind of got an exclusive here. Those who've been watching my channel and Ripcast and Corn Dip, we've all had our problems with people trying to dox us, right? And I think everybody's experienced that who turns on a camera, and this is what we're talking about, and just that it's bullshit. So, Danny, this is right in your wheelhouse, bro.
Oh, I get it.
So,
and how many times did he cry? Please send me the link. No,
How is it just a strike for like a week or something?
I am not sure. I want to say
channel going away. Like
I want to say it was 2 weeks, but I don't. I missed a lot of Shuli's reaction to this all week, so I'm not 100% sure.
A second strike would be. It wouldn't be 2 weeks. It would be more than that.
Yeah,
right?
It's definitely a second strike, but I just don't know.
Talk, Shuli.
Oh, Jesus.
So all of this is because there was a link in the description to a Patrick Melton episode. And from that, you send me on Twitter basically a blackmail threat that I need to go on Twitter. Hold on. Let me finish talking. Let me finish talking. You send me a DM on Twitter, and I'll read it if you want, because it's right here. And the DM says the following. It wasn't my channel that it wasn't your channel that got struck.
Dude, everybody has already.
Thank you. I appreciate it because
Did you mute him?
I think that might have been OJ. I mean, what was going on at this point? We had Drunk on Cringe on for 23 minutes alone. About 15 minutes into into the podcast, Shuli was texting me.
Can you see the time code here in the bottom?
Right. Okay. Yeah. There you go. So Shuli started texting me at about 15 minutes, asking to come on, and because this wasn't arranged, right? I didn't send out. I mean, I arranged it moments before we went live because I saw that Drunk on Cringe was on Jake Huston, but that was a disaster because Drunk on Cringe's microphone was blown out. They had all kinds of technical problems, so none of this was planned. So Shuli coming on, Drunk on Cringe contacted me after and said, that wasn't cool, but there was no preparation done, and I thought in the moment, he did file these reports against his channel. He was talking mad shit against Shuli. I thought it was only fair to have the two of them come on together, but I didn't give him a choice as to whether Shuli would join. I just brought him in. Right. So that's kind of a dick move, but I just thought
it's your show.
It's my show. And I'm also my goal here wasn't to make either of them look bad. I know this is why I don't get a lot of views on my YouTube channel, and I'm boring. I wasn't trying to, I wanted to present both of them. Whatever sides they had, take it journalistically. be old school, and just try to hear both sides of the argument. So I wasn't trying to motherfuck anybody.
Okay, so here we go. Bad Aussie. Hey, Bad Aussie, what's going on? Mod of all mods of all time. On your first strike, YouTube, will you read that, Quint, if I can't see it?
On your first strike, YouTube will freeze your ability to upload any new content for 1 week. On your second strike, within that 90-day period, you won't be able to upload for 2 weeks.
Okay, 2 weeks. That sucks, especially, and for people who are watching that aren't familiar with Shuli's network down here, there's a lot of people that he pays and feeds, and doesn't really go after anybody. They don't seek, just like here at Ripcast, and like Carlos here, we don't look to take people out, right? But we find it interesting when people do. So,
right? Yeah. I am a drama queen. Totally. I'll own up to that.
I mean, I don't know if anybody had the old grandparents that used to watch the General Hospital and All My Children. If that was part of your repertoire as a kid.
They'd watch it while sitting next to the scanner.
Yeah, I mean, this is that same thing. This is that voyeuristic modern day soap opera for sure. In real time.
Had your time. You've said what you needed to say. Now I'm going to say.
You already.
And by the way, my channel didn't get struck. Your channel did. You rely on your channel. I don't. Mine is a fucking hobby. Don't come at me, bro. I used YouTube for ages. You can buy people to strike a channel like you bought Twitter followers. It's quite easy. So don't treat me like a fucking kid. I know you love to do this condescending thing. Now? I'm not much younger than you, my friend, but I've been doing this much longer, and your livelihood depends on your channel. So back the fuck off. Now, here's the interesting part, is right after that, I have yet to respond. You write. So here's the deal. You write on Twitter that we made up. There is no stress and everything's fine. I will do the same. Then we ignore each other. Deal? Deal? So is that not a threat? Is that not blackmail?
Okay, so who sees that? Put a 1 in the chat if you see that as a threat. Put a 2 in the chat if not. And this has really, to me, always been about people and their ability to say whatever the fuck they want. It's a free speech thing.
Yeah, I mean,
he's muted at this point because what he was trying to do there, and I get it. He's sort of in this situation where he's got, if we look at like the power rankings, right? Shuli is from the Howard Stern show, seasoned broadcaster, and Drunk on Cringe is sort of a new YouTuber, at least in this world. So there's a power imbalance there. So Drunk on Cringe was trying to do that Stuttering John thing where he was just kind of going la 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 la. But I wanted the voices to be heard. So that was really the motivation when he was muted. It wasn't to fuck him over, because I did get a lot of shit from people saying, hey man, you censored this guy left and right. But otherwise it would have been, you wouldn't have been able to hear what anybody was saying.
Exactly. And in this case, you have to really make an executive decision for not only the show so that people can hear, but the fairness of it, right? Because one thing that I see about, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Corndiff, because you are the bad cop. What I am thinking is that you have always been pretty fair, and people are going to give you shit when you don't take sides. Also, you can't win, Carlos.
Oh, absolutely. I've gotten shit from both sides. I love Kevin Brennan. That gets me shit online. So one thing about this whole world is, particularly in the last week, it does feel like Republican Democrat all of a sudden, where it's just like we have to hate each other and we have to cut each other's throats and eat our hearts, and it's just, or eat each other's hearts. That bothers me.
I'll bet a lot of people thought that this was Kevin Brennan.
Probably.
Who, Drunk on Cringe?
No, I mean, I'll bet a lot of people thought that this situation was actually Kevin Brennan's doing.
And I did ask that after Drunk on Cringe eventually leaves, and then I asked Shuli specifically that, and he said, no, we know this isn't Kevin Brennan. We know it's not his people, but we also know he's enjoying the fuck out of it, which I think is all accurate statements.
Well, also we saw that we see here from in the chat from Flat Cat Jessica, it appears Drunk on Cringe Twitter was suspended. So, look,
YouTube page is gone too.
What's that?
YouTube and Reddit are all
now.
dark.
Do you think those are his doing?
He was messaging me after the interview last night. He was still going at it with people last night on Twitter after the interview. He did say to me, I don't appreciate being ambushed, but I know you had to do it. No hard feelings. And I told him, I thought, hey, you held your own, so I don't know. I don't know where the morning took him because then I went to bed.
Right. I don't think, I personally would never, and I wasn't suggesting that Shuli had anything. I don't think he would even bother, you know what I mean, to do anything like that. I think that's something that some audience members will take up upon for themselves, Yeah.
Although it is like, I was reading all the reactions on the Shuli Anonymous subreddit, Hackverse Anonymous, which is sort of a hive of anti-Shuli people. And, they didn't like Shuli before, and they certainly don't like him after this interview as well.
Right.
And I saw OJ's a cuck, all that kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah, you're going to get all that stuff. I mean, those are the people that are, those are the sort of extremists that really, really do have that, that, oh yeah, let's look at their personal shit. That to me, I don't get, that's not a get off from me. For some people, it just is.
Yeah. And I'll tell you some of what I saw today. They're raising some good points. Cause like I said, I don't know anything about, I've never falsely reported a channel or deliberately reported a channel. I've never really had my channel fucked with, so I'm completely an ignoramus when it comes to the terms of service and all that stuff. But there were people in Hackverse Anonymous and Shuli's Anonymous saying it couldn't have just been one guy. It's got to be more to it. And they're of course questioning whether Shuli's even telling the truth in all this. So, well, it is an interesting perspective, I'll say, and I do like reading it.
I don't think he would just sit there and eat a dick for a couple weeks just to make a point. With all the dough that they're leaving on the table, because a lot of the support is through super chats and that watch time and the memberships. And don't they freeze the member? Something, it gets fucked up when you get a strike. Even when you come back, I think that there's like a time where you can't use any of those back end,
those resources for financial.
Yeah.
Like the monetized revenue stuff. Okay.
Right. Like,
I saw
super chats away, and I'm not sure. I hope not.
Sorry, I keep fucking interrupting. I apologize.
No, you're the worst.
I saw. Sorry, Corn Diff. There was something. I think it was Hackverse or Shuli's Anonymous where they were saying, well, because Shuli and his people have said the community guideline strike had something to do with an image in 2 seconds into their opening where it showed a rooster on a tree stump, and somehow that was twisted into animal cruelty, something like that.
Yeah.
And the other, the people who don't believe Shuli, the anti-Shuli sentiment that's out there is saying, well, no, it's the fake super chats, the thing that Brennan keeps bringing up again and again. And of course, we have no proof that there were any fake super chats, just sort of this insinuation that there is. And I certainly don't know how you would even prove something like that. So, right. But it is an interesting theory. Like in terms of conspiracy theories, I'm like, oh, okay, that's a different perspective.
When it gets to a certain volume, you certainly can look, and when you look at MSCS, for example, Tommy's channel.
Oh yeah.
Okay, it just is like you could look at it and be like, okay, there are all that's. I mean, come on, how many Indian fans can you have, bro?
It's so blatant, it's endearing. Like it's so out of whack, his views for his content. It's so obviously fake. I never want it to change.
I always heard that I've never bought any kind of engagement, because I always heard that if you do that once, it screws up everything. It's like steroids. If you don't keep using them, your
nuts fall off.
Right.
That's right. you gotta keep it going, or else you lose the muscle.
Yep. Doing butt stuff with a corn cob. You don't want to do once you try it, there you're done.
Don't ever repeat again what you have seen backstage here, please. I don't know what you coming on here, just giving away all the secrets, telling everybody how the burgers are made.
Sorry, I'm a hack.
So, what are some of the future plans for Insufferable Bastards?
Oh man, we have none.
Corn Diff on at some point.
Yeah. Corniff was on once. Corniff bailed us out. I think I had a failed stream. We tried to watch One Too Many, the Stuttering John film, but then we came. But Corniff has been on once or twice. So yeah, I'll definitely have you guys on, the dynamic duo. I do watch your stuff and see it on Twitter often. But yeah, I don't know. I was going to do a stream tonight to sort of address some of the criticisms I had to sort of like Drunk on Cringe. His mic was low. I thought I could address that, but then I thought it'd be much easier to come on here and talk about it with you guys. So yeah, I never plan anything. Like, it's whatever interests me or Obnoxious John or the other host, Brian Spears, like 10 minutes before we go on.
And obviously, if you want to clip out your section from here, because we're going to do some more show, if you want to clip out your part and just put on your channel, go for it.
Oh, dude, I appreciate that, because I was going to ask you that. So thank you very much.
Yeah, not a problem. Not a problem. But yeah, man, I really appreciate you coming. I know that this was last minute. And so I appreciate you jumping on here and giving your opinion. I've put the link in the chat to the video. I want everybody to go and subscribe. All right. For everybody from the audience here, go and subscribe.
Yes.
Make sure that you go and hit up Insufferable Bastards with Carlos Danger. And anything else you want to plug, brother?
I might be on Misery Loves Company at 9:30.